So as I understand it, there are several components that need to be somehow in place in your life in order to overcome this obstacle which so many of us face to getting yourself out and recognized by the people who could benefit from your services. So I'm going to give you 5 components that I'm aware of, and you can measure in yourself to see how much each of them may be present in your life right now. The first is very simple, and it's a desire to serve. You have a longing, a desire to give to other people, to see other people flourish. Now, in my own case, for example, if I go on the beach or on holidays or something, it's only a few days go by before I really get bored. I don't really find just having pleasure and having fun to be very satisfying very long. I have a natural impulse. I want to make a difference to people. That needs to be present for you in your life in order for there to be the energy to reach out and give your gift. The second component is you need to have a toolbox. You may really want to help people, but unless you've got some kind of method or means through which you can help them, the whole thing may be a little hard to define and explain to people, and you may also not find yourself able to create results. So it's quite possible you've already trained with me in Awakening Coaching. You may have some other modality or modalities that you use as well. You need tools in order to be able to serve people. Now, the third element that you need to overcome this block to putting yourself out in the world is some kind of motivation and accountability. What I've noticed in myself and many people I've worked with is we have the recognition it's a good idea to post blogs, it's a good idea to use Facebook, it's a good idea to do these things. But unless you've got some drive, some motivation, and unless there's also somebody else kind of watching over you that you can report back to, many of us, we just run out of steam and lose interest and lose energy. Now, money can be a good motivator, but you need something, some kind of push that means you kind of got to do it, that you can't just sit around and postpone and wait. And the other piece of that is accountability, that there's somebody else besides you in the equation who's watching out and seeing that you did what you said you'd do. In the Honest Marketing course, we're going to be accountability partners to each other. So we'll be able to report back to the group and to your buddy to see on what milestones you were able to meet. And this is really because of the fourth component, which I would say is essential for you to overcome this kind of barrier, which we could call anticipating resistance. What that means is you may be aware that there's one part of you who wants to get out and make a difference and put your message into the world and contribute and everything. But it's important to also recognize that there are parts of you as well who are afraid, who have thoughts like, who am I to make a difference to anybody? Who am I that anybody would want to listen to me? Oh, I have these things going on in my life that are not yet working. There are many forces within the psyche that will cause resistance, that will cause you to back down and give up. So it's important to be able to anticipate resistance. That means to recognize that there are different parts of the psyche. Some of them want to get out and make a difference and serve people and live the gifts you were born to give. Some parts of you really don't want that. To be able to recognize this kind of split, which we all have, to be able to anticipate it and practice with it is the key, actually, to being able to overcome this barrier, to making a difference, making an impression on the people who could benefit from you. And the last component is the willingness to take small steps of imperfect action. That means we have to be willing to write a blog that maybe nobody will read, that maybe doesn't even read very good. We have to be willing to put things on Facebook that maybe don't get liked so much. We have to be willing to just do it, to just keep putting something out every day or every few days. Small steps of imperfect action are the way that we actually eventually make a difference and establish ourselves as a source of credibility for what you do in the world.